Hey there, City Skyliners. Welcome to episode 21 of our weekly playthrough of Cities Skylines. So this is a more special episode this week, guys. We're going to go through adjusting the budget and how many sort of buildings of each type to have so we can really squeeze the profits out of the city and get the most money we can from our citizens. Okay? Okay, so here we have Rivalry City. Now, first off, I'm just going to go over some of these icons that are flashing just to put your mind at rest and let you know what they are. These ones here that look like they've got headphones on, they're actually sick. It looks like they're complaining about noise, but they're actually sick. They've got plenty of healthcare. The reason they're sick is just due to education. They're not educated enough yet to go to the doctor and stuff. Education takes a long time in this game, so you have to kind of start early and really build it up. Mostly elementary school is educated. You can see the red ones there aren't. This was the newer area of the city with no school. This is the high schools. So I've actually reduced them quite a lot from the last playthroughs you may have seen of this city, because there was like 2 universities. There were tons of these elementary schools and we didn't need them. You can just take some out, up the budget slightly, and it covers more of the area. Especially when you place the school down, you'll see the little happy smiley faces spread out across a certain portion of the city, all in a circle from the centre here, and it shows you roughly how much of an area that covers. You can up the budget so you can fit more students in the school, but also it will cover a wider area as well, so you need less schools. Now, the school budget in this game is quite expensive. You can see it on the right hand side, it looks like a book. 10,950. Now that was at 16,000. Where I've removed some of the schools, the university, high schools and elementary schools, that is now slowly dropping as time goes by. I've still got the game paused, so it's still dropping. I'm not sure how much. But basically it was costing us like 16,000 for education. That's just way too expensive. I also lowered the budget for the roads down to 70% at night, 65% during the day. I think that's expenses slowly coming down. You can see the expenses there on the right hand side. The roads are costing us like 12 odd grand. It was just too much and not needed. Electricity, I lowered the budget on this. People use less electricity at night time, so I've got that on 60%, and the daytime is like 75%. Now this all depends on how much electricity you need. So if you go to this tab here and choose electricity, you can see that I've got it just within range. It will soon let you know when everyone hasn't got enough electricity, because it starts flashing like this across the city. This is flashing with no electric because it's a park. I could join it up. I will join it up. Maybe people will move in there more quickly, but otherwise you don't need to join it up, it's fine. I'll just take that power line back out once people move in and it all joins up properly. Same as that one there, it's not going to go anywhere. I've turned off one of the recycling centres here that deals with the rubbish, because I can see when I click here the garbage processing status, the bar's just within range. I can adjust the budget and up it a little bit, but the garbage production is 242,000 a week and I can process 261,000 a week. I didn't need it. I had enough processing capability to handle what I had coming in, so that saves us some cash as well there. Now with healthcare, I do have a good healthcare overall. Its average healthcare is 67%. Now I don't really need a hospital for this size of the city. If you go into this hospital, it's like 55 patients out of 500. So I could do with a clinic there, but I'm thinking maybe a hospital does offer better services. I've got some clinics dotted around as well. Even these won't be full up. 6 out of 100, ambulances in use, 0 out of 6. But if I reduce the budget, the area that covers also reduces, so some people aren't then covered. So I've kind of got to have it like that, but there's only a few healthcare buildings, it's not too bad. Maybe I could take this one out right here as well, or take this one out, let's just see. 0 of 100, 0 out of 6 ambulances used. Patients treated 5, no ambulances in use. Okay, so let's take out this one and replace it with a skate park. Now, I do have a second playthrough of this game where I tinker around, try out different bits. I don't know if you remember me saying in previous episodes, it was about a year ago that I was heavily playing this game, and since then there's been some significant updates, but one of the most significant updates is where I've got all this dense residential packed into all this sort of area here. It really has seemed to reflect that there are a lot of people in this area. The bus routes have really suffered with this. I mean, there's a lot of buses. Look at it. I mean, 500, I don't know why, 546 people at this bus stop. There's a taxi rank right here. It was full up, 16 out of 16, so I upped the budget. It's now up to 28, so that will help. But there's a metro line right here. I serviced 140 people last week. There's 548 people there. I don't know why they don't just get straight on the metro and use that. It'll most likely be quicker, if not as quick. So it's weird. A lot more people before in this game used to use the metro all the time, and not as much the buses. And my roads did used to still get a little bit packed, but they're not. We go over here, we can see the traffic view. 84% traffic, it's not bad. It's around this area here at the moment I need to adjust. We just unpause it. This was a 4-lane road, I've changed it to a 6-lane road. There was a fire here recently, I think that's why everyone was turning around. But this should sort itself out soon. It's this little junction here don't help, so I might have to sort something out there. But I've changed this to 6-lane road, I'm hoping that will help clear it. But if not, as your city grows, this is what makes it fun. It's trying to sort out problems like this, and you just watch the traffic and you're like, does it work? Is it going to work? So give it a bit of time to clear, and if not, I might just put in like a bypass, slip roads, roundabout. We do like our roundabouts. Okay. It is a little complicated to see, but what you're looking at really is just the tall light green bars that are all sticking up. Just the tall light green ones. And what they are, they're metro stations. They're underground metro stations. Now in my previous playthroughs, like a year ago, you would need this sort of many metros. Let's just follow this light blue line, okay? We're looking at this light blue line, just this route. So we can see it there going around. It goes all the way down there. So it's got one station here, another station there. So they're quite spread out. Another station there. They're fairly spread out. And this was how many stations you basically sort of needed. And now the game doesn't seem it's like that. It's like you could. Here's the central metro hub area. So we come out here. You could maybe get away with just putting a station up in the corner here to send them to the farthest reaches. Another one here in the middle. Maybe another one down here. You could just do one or two massive lines. Put just a couple of metro trains on there because they carry 150 people. And maybe that's all they'll need. Because people just aren't using the metro lines. It's just not like that anymore. We do need to reduce all the metro because these metro stations that's not cost effective. Let's have a think. Right, okay. I've had to think about it, and I've decided if this game's more focused now on the bus routes, we're going to need a second bus station going in. We've got our first one here that's in the middle, but it's obviously under strain. There's only 2 more access routes left on it, I think 2 or 3 that I could make, and that seems pointless because they're just so heavily burdened. So the second train station, we've got past Oriental Hills, right up here. Second train station is going to go in, second bus station is going to go in here. We'll also have a train station in this area. This, I've checked the resources, we've got some ore down here we're going to take advantage of, get some extra cash. Also I noticed with resources, there's ore over here. Now this area has got some industry there, so we'll take advantage of the ore that's in that area. But one thing that is always I found weird about this, now obviously this is our oil area, the oil industry. This was all black underneath these buildings where we had oil. They've used it up in the local area. I don't know if they'll use this bit here and they'll travel at all, I don't know. So technically, I mean, this has been bare and bald and barren for ages. But if we go to the budget screen, I'm betting, unless this has changed now, let's go to where's our oil? They are £6,000 worth of oil we got coming in. So I don't know where they get it from, and that just seems to stay like that. I just leave it, I'll carry on leaving it like that, we'll keep checking it, and we'll see how that ends up. If anyone knows, leave us a comment and see, well, where are they getting the oil from? It's like, and I haven't got it on infinite resources. So this area here, there is some ore in near this sort of area. What you need to do if you want to change this up is mark out a zone. We've already got one sort of fawn height, so I don't want to. Let's just delete part of the zone. Don't delete the whole zone. Let's just delete some of it, like that, and then we can create a new zone starting here. We'll just delete this part out. Just want this bit here, and with that, we want that to be ore. ore industry specialisation, and we just changed that area to be ore. And now slowly those buildings will change over when it's unpaused. They'll change over to produce and carry ore for our city. And I'll do the same over here. Sorry, Forest Heights, you're gone. Looks about right. As you can see, the other policies are to focus on recycling, and marijuana is legal. Is it a little bit more crime rate, but it makes the citizens happy. Which I suppose is not a bad ask, is it? It's quite reasonable. So, still on the theme of saving money for the city, you can see we're concentrating now on transport with the bus routes, etc. We're basically bringing in just under £4,000 from the buses, a little bit from the taxis, yeah, buses, metros, bringing in just under £4,000. Whereas if you look on the right hand side over here, you can see it's costing us £13,500. I mean, it's costing us nearly £10,000, $10,000 more to run this city, because no one's using the metros. They're all so expensive. The buses maybe are making a profit, I wouldn't know. I don't think you make much of a profit on transport anyway, but I certainly don't want to be overspending like that either. Now, when I first started, I've had it mostly paused. Down the bottom here, you can see it's now £32,000. It was around 23,000. So I'm squeezing more profit out of the city. I don't know if that's weekly or how that accumulates or what, but if I was making a loss, it'd be turning red. I don't know how that works. If you know, leave us a comment. But yeah, it was £23,000. Maybe it's a week. It's now £32,000. Hopefully that's still going up because the school budget and everything is decreasing. Okay, let's make the change now and start building our second bus station. Start changing things up. I'll be back. So first, before we do that, let me just show you what settings I have my taxes, etc. on. So for the low density residential, low commercial, and just standard industry, I have them on 12%. All three of those, 12%. High density residential, high density commercial on 13%. And the office building sometimes seems you can get away with 13% or 12. I have it on 12. They might start complaining if it's 13, if perhaps the land value around it isn't great and there's not enough services in the city. So I'd leave it, you can leave it on 12 to be safe, but they'll soon let you know if you put it on 13 and they don't like it. These are my settings for everything else. A lot of these will depend on your own city. So obviously the darker bars are nighttime, the lighter bars are the daytime. So daytime for road maintenance, I've got 65. I've got it a little higher at nighttime, figuring road maintenance might be easier to do at night with not as much traffic. It's never I've never ever had a complaint about not enough road maintenance and stuff. I wouldn't know what the symbol looks like, so I don't have it on the minimum, but I have it on that set and we'll see. Electricity will be based on your city and how much you need, how much you're producing. Same with the water. You just play around with these settings to make sure you've just got it in within enough range that you're making and squeezing as much profit out as possible. The same with healthcare and rubbish. These two here, you just make sure you've got the right amount of buildings. They're covering them enough. The city does let you know when you're not covering enough of this service because the icons start flashing on the screen, so you know to either come in here and adjust it or build more of that service. Same with the fire service. I've got them at night time, the same as during the day, because I figure they'll probably be worked just as hard at night and day. Hospital and health and rubbish I've got set lower because you figure they're not going to be as busy during the night time as they are during the day. They are busy services during the day. The police I've got them the same during the night and during the day. Keep them the same. Schools don't obviously run much at night. Maybe the caretaker will be there, so I've got an 80%, whereas during the day it's full maximum 150%. Tourism and leisure I haven't really touched at the moment, 100%. Monuments, 100. Buses I've just left at 100% because it's easier. I can add or reduce buses on the line as per each individual line. Same with the metros, so I've just not really played with those. Taxis I've adjusted as per needed. I've got it nighttime 100% and daytime 120% because they will be, obviously taxi drivers are going to be a lot busier during the day. I've got three taxi ranks in the city. Taxis didn't really used to play as much of a part in the game. They didn't really used to do much, not used to be any good. But they do seem to be much better now. So I've got 3 taxi ranks in the city, one here at my main hub. I've got one down here where there's a above ground metro station, and this is like an officey area I started building. And obviously one up here where the oil industry is, next to the new skate park. And I adjusted the budget on these so that all 3 of them are now up to sort of 29, and I've had it paused a lot of the time, so I've only got to about 22, so that seems to have covered okay. But also in addition to those taxi ranks, you can get, is it taxi stand? Yeah, taxi stand. I've got about 2 or 3 of these in the city. I don't know how good these actually are. What you do is basically put them somewhere miles away from where there isn't a taxi rank, so the closest taxi rank would be this one here, and I've put the taxi stand here. And basically what it is, you see how many taxis are waiting, so rather than going back to the taxi depot, they'll wait. Taxis in queue, none. It always shows none of 5 in the queue. And they'll just go and wait there if it's closer than going back to the taxi rank. But they never seem to use them, but I put a couple in the city anyway, just in case. Okay, so let's change up and build this new area. Okay, so we've got our first bus station area here. And this is our second bus station area. Got a nice little decorative area here, play chairs, for food. And there's also an underground cycle lane that goes from here and comes back out there. So we'll leave episode 21 there this week. We'll pick it up again next week, where in episode 22 I'll be doing an in-depth detailed guide on how to set up bus lines and how to have your metro set up for the most efficient way for your city.